and one of those other teams, and y'all are mad at us for not wanting to pay every single time y'all step into y'all's new weight room or new locker room. Y'all just need to go ahead and do a handwritten letter to the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma because we're the only reasons y'all could afford it. You're welcome. Your new basketball arena, you're welcome. You get new turf next year, you're welcome.
Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the base.
Welcome back to another episode of Lone Star College Football. We've got Logan in the building, and we've got Jason Watkins over from Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Oh, we're about to kick him off the channel that fast. How you doing, Jason?
Hey man, I'm doing
How you
good,
doing,
fellas.
man?
How are you guys?
Good.
You guys
Man.
survived the freeze and still alive out there, so good to go.
Just barely. Just
too.
barely. East Texas sucks. The power grid sucks. I say
Yep.
it sucks. I love everything about it except the winter.
Yeah.
I'll take the summer. The heat don't bother me.
Seems
hate the
odd that they
cold.
would have an issue with the power grid in Texas, but it's odd.
Well, just for the winter.
Been going
Just
on
the
every
winter.
year, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
every year. Y'all, if y'all looking for some good college football content, y'all have got to check out Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. He does a lot over there. He does a ton of live streams. So if you like to be interacted with the host of the show, for real, go check him out and give him a sub.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So today we're gonna be talking about when Texas and Oklahoma are gonna leave the Big 12. There's a lot going on today in the media about 2024, 2025. I even saw one guy tweeting that Texas and OU might be an independent school for the 2024 season.
Yeah, you sent
I
me
don't know where
that
that.
tweet. I was like,
I
that's
don't know
gotta
where
be,
that came
what are you
from. Yeah, there's
kidding?
no shot. There's no
Yeah.
because and I don't know all the legal side of it, but if there was a scenario where they were an independent, that would mean that the Big 12 just kind of gave them the boot. And if they gave them the boot, they'd be
can't-
free to just go ahead and go to the SEC, right?
Well, I guess so, but except that the thing is that they have a contract that goes through 2025. That
Right.
would go to court
So
immediately.
if they gave them the boot, they'd just be voiding. I mean, no, Texas and OU'd be fine with it. You give us the boot, that's fine. Cut ties, and we'll just go into the SEC
The Big
now.
12 wouldn't be able
I'm
to.
gonna say no. I'm gonna say they're gonna want their 30 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
yeah.
The
So
Big,
I
Big
don't
12
know.
can't afford to pay that. The remaining schools cannot pay that. That's why we're making y'all stick around and making
That's
y'all
correct.
pay.
That's the other part of it. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
half
I think
the revenue comes from those two schools. So
if not more, right? I mean,
I'm
is it
Yeah, I
half?
not
think
Is it
denying
exactly
any of
half?
that at all.
no, and I'm not even talking smack about that. I mean, and here's the deal. It comes down to it. This has been a cluster since
Yeah.
long before, even when Bob Bowsby, before he got the job.
Yep.
And he's been asleep at the wheel since he got there. And then, and they decide to, do something about it after you lose Oklahoma and Texas. And they signaled it multiple times that they were trying to get out. And
Yeah.
then at the end, it's, they just, went behind my back. Bro, if you didn't see this one coming, I think he was a stoner, bro. I just don't think he was paying attention ever. So I don't know.
I just don't. And Logan's one of the fans of the remaining Big 12 schools that's a little more understanding of the situation.
Yeah,
Right?
I haven't even heard
I've
Baylor
talked
talk
to
a lot of bad stuff about anybody, really. I heard
365. Check Sikkim
they
365.
they do, but
talk
I'm
bad
not
about
talking
Baylor.
I
about
don't know.
365. But their commission, the AD doesn't, and
Right.
they have
Yeah.
him
I
on
don't
a
know
lot.
if 365 doesn't have very many hot or good takes. They got a ton of hot takes. Anyways,
Here's the thing about 365. You've got the freaking the grump over on one side, and then the the weirdo in the middle, the old man, which is his dad. But I've never heard anything out of old Craig over there that isn't, oh well, I hate that. It's just constant.
always it's just all
That
hate.
dude
It's
is
not
a
really.
grump. And then you got old dude over there that's like slamming salami subs and stuff. I'm just kidding. Anyway, no, it's a
listening
funny
to
show. Though.
the
They have good
listening
guests,
to
but
the fan base. Yeah, they do. Listening to the fan bases talk about, oh, well, Texas, know you did this just so the Big 12 would fail. No,
that's not true.
we're not
They
worried about
They
y'all.
carried the Big 12 for a
Worried
long
about
time,
us.
dude.
And that's
Exactly.
what I'm saying. I don't have no no bad intentions to anybody,
That's
but when
right.
they start attacking us, I'll tell anybody.
Well, that's the
Listen,
thing.
we
I was
were
on with Kuz. I was on with Kuz's Corner last week, and we kind of argued about it. He was saying they need to pay the full 85 million. I was like, you guys are the ones wanting to kick us out.
That's not
We said
even
we'd
the
stay.
thing with it, though. It's like reasonable fan here, right? Y'all aren't doing this to screw over the Big 12. Y'all are doing this to get what y'all are deserved because y'all have been piggybacking the whole conference. And I'll be the first one to admit that. I'm not going to be the
We've
one.
been
and there's not a
piggybacking for a
single
while.
school in the Big 12 that wouldn't take a freaking $90 million a year deal in the SEC
Exactly.
and the
Every one of
recruiting
them.
bump that comes with it. Nobody.
Every one of them.
Yeah, so I mean, anybody can say whatever they want, and that's the good news about like Kuz is that he wanted to make sure that OU and Texas pay on their way out so that their $16 million, gets paid back. He was even complaining about like if they went that 60% and they would still, I mean, that's $3 million that West Virginia would be out. I was like, bro, are you serious? $3 million? I was like, that was an investment, and that's the whole thing is nobody wants to. OU and Texas did not vote on that. The Legacy 8 did what they should have done when it came to that because obviously you want to renegotiate your contract with ESPN while you have a full conference.
Yep.
That's when you want to do it. So they did, but it was going to cost them $16 million to do that, which is kind of crazy. But the question I have is, and like I said, I feel like Bob Bowlesby was the dude was asleep at the wheel from day one. You could have. I know that Texas and Oklahoma were screaming about adding new teams to build the revenue up and to strengthen the conference for years.
Wait,
he was around
A&M,
for 11 freaking years and never did anything.
Never.
Just like, I mean, they kicked the last guy out of there. That they kicked. That's why he left. It's not because he wanted to. He got
shown the door.
Of course he did. And why wouldn't you? I mean, literally they've been bleeding schools off since 2009, 2008. They've been bleeding off schools. You lose Nebraska and Colorado, which were Southwest Conference Blue Bloods.
Yep.
They were. And then you end up losing A&M, and then Missouri, they bounce out the door, and they were already trying to leave too, So, I mean, and even who cares about Missouri so much, except for it makes you a whole conference, And they just decided to, to me, whenever you got Baylor and TCU got left out of the playoff that year because of no conference title game, and they still didn't do anything except for add the conference title game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, man, incompetence is a weird thing, man. Huh?
It's crazy. Like, why did we not have a Big 12 championship game to begin with? All that does is add an extra game and more money for the conference and those schools.
I guess I've never understood this thought process, but because they played the round robin schedule, you have a true champion, quote unquote. As long as the rest of the conferences don't agree, it don't make a crap what you think. You know what I mean? And when you've got a committee for the playoffs, they're like, everybody else is playing a championship game. You need to play one.
Yep.
So that's not really the point of this episode.
No, I know.
Is our conference now that we have I'm saying what I'm about to ask. Now that we have 14 teams, are we breaking up into 2 divisions? Or are we still?
We're not going to
do and that's kind of nationwide. They're kind of not doing that anywhere anymore. And even with the SEC is not going to break up into divisions. I think it's going to be more. I think there'll still be divisions, kind of, but it's more or less that you're going to have. They even said it's not going to be a pod system. I think that you pick your, like, obviously Texas and Oklahoma are going to play every year. And then you're going to pick your other team that you're going to play every year. You've got 2 teams that for sure you're going to play every year. And then a third one that you're going to play all but like 3 out of 4. I think I'm not positive exactly, but I know that you've got, and then, you've got your, whatever it is, your list of, I'm thinking that it's I think it's all 4 teams. So it'll be Texas, Oklahoma. I'm thinking Oklahoma's been talking about that I've even heard, you kind of want to add LSU, but do you? Maybe you should add Arkansas because, you want to have one easy one in there, or maybe even Vanderbilt. I mean, or Missouri. I would grab Missouri probably again. because they suck.
Arkansas works for Texas because that's
Arkansas
an old
works for
rivalry
Oklahoma.
game.
They're right down the road. You
Oh
know what
yeah.
I mean? So it's another one of those deals where you could actually do pretty well with it, and that brings you back to the old Big 8. You know,
Arkansas, A&M, Oklahoma, Texas, all right there. That could be pretty good for y'all.
No, I think it's smart, and I think that obviously you're going to do that, and then I think so. That's 4 games. You're going to have 4 more, you know, and so it'll get broken up between the rest of the guys in the conference, which I'm guessing you're going to. I mean, obviously you're going to play Alabama probably every year, every couple of years. I'm not exactly sure how it all goes, but I mean, we still have at least another year in the Big 12. And now, I just think it just feels like it's just a real. Everything that I'm seeing is, you know, they were saying it's 2025 this morning. It's changed so much throughout the day, though.
Yeah, it's just gone up and down.
Yeah, from what I saw, Brett McMurphy was talking about it, and he said that there's really no set deadline. And what's holding this thing up now is Fox only. So you have 5 entities, and all 5 of them have to agree. It's not a majority rules, any of that kind of stuff, because this is money involved. They're not going to, you know what I mean? Yeah. Apparently, the conferences are both good. ESPN was okay. Texas and Oklahoma being together are another one, and then you've got, Fox, and Fox being it just doesn't help them in any way. Or I guess there's something that there's missing. They're not really telling you what the deal is that they're hung up on, but obviously it's money, and they're saying that the deal is not right, and they can hold it up. What surprised me though is what I said to you off air was that it doesn't seem like they have a big deadline. It could happen anytime. It could happen in November, and they could still leave.
I heard one thing that said that in order for you to leave a conference, you have to give an 18-month.
See, they've been saying stuff like that, but apparently, okay, generally speaking, yes. But seeing how everybody wants them out of this conference, they can, you know, like
just
they can waive that. They can waive that requirement.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and before I say Logan, you're a Baylor Bear fan, y'all are obviously staying in the Big 12 no matter what. What do you think? Do you particularly even care? Like, all the money aside, do you think Texas should stay, OU should stay till 2025, or do you just say, you know what? Although I enjoy playing Texas, I enjoy playing Baylor. Let's just cut ties. New teams are in. Let's start these new games, these new rivalries, and just go our separate ways. What do you think?
Dude, that's what I've been trying to figure out, because since I've gotten to know both of y'all, I've kind of been able to see it from 2 different points of view, especially Christian, because I've known you longer. But it kind of sucks that I'm not going to be able to see Oklahoma at Baylor or Texas at Baylor and all of that, like I've been used to my whole life. Basically, it's real weird. Like, I wanted to finish out till 2025 just for another chance to play Oklahoma again, another chance to play Texas at Austin. I mean, it's hard, but part of me just wants to get it over with, so I'm tired of seeing it everywhere. Just scrolling through Twitter, something every day is about it, and I'm just like, dude, just do something. Figure it out. But I think, personally, I would rather y'all stay until 2025 just because I'm selfish and I want to watch more football. Yeah. But for y'all at the same time, it's like, I'd rather y'all be in the SEC playing the big dogs like y'all should be.
See, I'm kind of – or Jason, you go ahead. You go first.
Well, I think at this point it's gotten so toxic throughout the league that it's time to probably go as soon as possible. Now, what I would tell you is, does it for somebody that went, that roots for a team that went 6-7 a year ago, you're not in that big a hurry to run off to the SEC and make 6-7 turn into 3-8.
Now you get 4 non-con. You get 4 non-con.
I know, but the thing is like, honestly, I feel like if there was. I mean, I'm looking at the schedule, and I know we haven't really talked about the schedules and stuff, but the way that it kind of worked out, Oklahoma and Texas got kind of lucky. The hard part about Texas was that obviously you've got Alabama on the schedule. Oklahoma was going to have Georgia until all this stuff started, which I'm
Yeah.
kind of happy that didn't happen. But you know, because good grief, you know, welcome to the league. You know what I mean? But anyway, when that one got pulled, then you've got the way that it sets up. I think that the toughest stuff for Oklahoma for 23 is going to be, I think, the BYU trip. Anytime you go to Provo, I mean, I've been to a Provo game with a Big 12 team. It was when the last time Texas played there, and Taysom Hill took them apart, and that place was rowdy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, listen, it was. And I mean, they beat Oklahoma the last time they played them too. So I mean, I'm not even talking trash. I'm just saying that's a tough place to play. Then the other one would be Cincinnati. I don't know what I know about Cincinnati with Fickle leaving. I know that they lost some guys to the portal. I know that we got Deshaun McCullough because of it. Day and Deshaun. Deshaun was at Indiana, but Day McCullough was going to go to Cincy. And so whenever he left to Wisconsin, he opened it up back up and he went with Venables. And so they ended up getting both brothers. That was a good deal for Oklahoma. But that tells you that, I mean, everything that he has done over there, I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you. It's something I'm going to have to look at. But I got to tell you, I feel like when you don't have Luke Fickell anymore, there's a problem there. So that even though it's on the road, you would hope you go over there, get a win. I think that obviously their tough spots are going to be the Texas game, because it always is. And then, you know, and then you've got the last game being but it's a home game against TCU, but we don't know what TCU is going to be. So honestly, I've heard people talking 11-1. I'm not doing all that. I'm thinking 9 wins probably. I would expect 9 wins out of this schedule. You better. Same thing I kind of feel about Texas. They should win 9, maybe 10.
Same thing with Baylor. I mean, like all 3 of our teams kind of got blessed in their own kind
of
way.
To not have to. I mean, 3 of the teams that beat Oklahoma last year, they're not playing them. So it's you know.
Yeah, I'm
thankfully they're going to get
Okie
like so they could smash them one more time before they get out. But you know,
I'm kind of upset we don't get to play Okie Light, because I think
I'm sure
bad.
I would be. Oh, you owe
them.
You owe them one too.
They're gonna be bad. I'll say on our schedule, and then I'll tell y'all what I think about leaving the Big 12. On our schedule, we only have to travel out of state twice. We have to go to Alabama in week 2, and then we go to Iowa State in like week 10 or 11, I think. Other than that, every other game is in state. We play Houston, TCU, Oklahoma's in Dallas. Like every other game is in the state of Texas. So I like that. That worked out pretty well for us. Baylor, though, they've got 8 home games. How in the world they got 8 true home games? I don't know, but
no idea. It's a record.
Worked out real well.
I would assume it's up there for the rest of the country as well. I have no clue. No idea. I don't know.
I was expecting 8 conference road games, to be honest with you. So I'm definitely not upset, you know, about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I think Okie Light got the easiest schedule, but they got the worst team, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think they're the last place team. Maybe
we
Houston,
don't get to play
because
Oklahoma
they're just
State
as much of a
or
dumpster
West
fire.
Virginia.
Yeah,
I wish we don't get to play West Virginia.
We don't get to play
to
Tech.
be fair, if we did play West Virginia, playing West Virginia would have been in Morgantown this year, so I'm okay with missing that. But Oklahoma State would have been a home game for us. Yep. And after how the road game went last year, would have been nice to play them. But as far as leaving the Big 12,
especially being the worst team,
really,
man, they're just trash.
I know it's. I don't know. Iowa State's going to be, I think, pretty bad. But Ames can be tough sometimes. But
and they're going to have one of the best defenses in the country. They always do.
Beat them by 9.
They always do. Yeah. The Big 12. Whether or not we leave in 24 25, I'm really just going to say the same thing that I told y'all. If we leave in 2024, cool, whatever. We'll get our recruiting bump. We're already Texas and OU are both recruiting right now. We're recruiting the size that we need, the speed that we need to play in the SEC. So just having one more season in the Big 12, one more class going into the SEC, I think both of our teams will be in a position to not go over there and go 4-8.
Sure. No, I think, but
Not
I
be-
also feel
not
like
be
we're already there.
contending.
I think that both of them should already be there at that point. I mean, if you're looking at,
Yeah,
you're going to have another recruiting class. If they were able to put together 8-9 win seasons, they should go in with another top 5 class. Oklahoma finishes at 4 in the classes after signing day. I mean, that's the highest they've ever been. And the crazy thing about it is, you know, they've had 3 5-stars before, but never 2 that were defensive players, and 6 top 100 players, man. 6 top 100 players.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you know, and most of them are on the defensive side. So this is something that's important for them to, and you know that to get over there, you got to play defense in the SEC. And so
it's
that's
crazy.
To me, I feel like that's where the difference is. As far as the thing is, though, if you stay, because look, I don't like the conspiracy theory stuff and all that, but it's not a conspiracy theory when there was freaking 4 holding calls against OU Texas opponents the entire season.
Combined for both of our teams.
Yeah, that's
4.
18 freaking football games, and they, you know, 18 freaking football games and 4 holding calls.
18 football?
9 for you guys, 9 for Oklahoma. Or no, what, 8 and 8, 16. Sorry. I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about just against Big 12 teams because of the Big 12 refs.
18 football games between those two programs.
Got you.
And 4 total holding calls.
Yeah,
and then,
it's insane.
I got to tell you, the Texas Tech game, they
don't
have a camera on the upright. That looked good to me. That kick looked good to me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that kick. It looked good to me. I was happy that they caught it in this.
I'm sure.
It looked good to me, too.
I'm sure, but it looked good. And I'm not saying that it was, but then they're like, oh, well, they don't have a camera angle of the upright. And I was, why? Everybody does. What is that?
Yeah.
It's just weird. And I mean, I haven't watched as much basketball this season in the Big 12, but I keep hearing that too, that they're getting done dirty.
I don't know.
Not good at basketball.
Well, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, you go beat Alabama and then get drug at home by Okie Light.
We're number 1 in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with Chris Beard leaving, man, that was crazy.
On the same hand, though, Texas, so we have the same reason why 24 could be good for us recruiting, and we're honestly, we are prepared in a way, maybe not fully, but 25, you know, we both really have the same thing there. Jackson Arnold, Arch Manning can redshirt 1 year for 2023 season, 2024
provided no
can play.
Injuries or anything crazy.
Yeah, play a whole season in 2024, and then as a redshirt sophomore, go to the SEC. You've got experience, your 3rd year on campus. That could be huge for us as well. And so it's really a win-win. I will say, I think personally,
I just think that it's gotten so toxic is my only thing, man.
It has, and that's the tough part. I think personally, I think these other 8 teams want that money from us so bad. I say, screw it. Let's just stay. Let's ride it out. And like I said, as much as I hate OU, there would be a part of me that would love to see Texas and OU just run the table for the next 2 years. That'd be the Big 12 champ game for the next 2 seasons. And send everybody off with a big middle finger and say, look, y'all wanted to get
Logan
rid
was
of us.
all on board
We're
with this entire talk until you started that up.
We're the only 2 teams keeping y'all from being a G of 5 conference for the last however many years. And now you add 4 teams. You add 4 teams and you think you're a big dog, but you're not. And Logan, Baylor has a lot to gain from this. Dave Aranda has got to get it figured out because y'all really could be a team that takes over this conference. It's y'all. Oklahoma State was up there, but with their drop off right now, they just hit the back door. It's y'all and TCU.
Okie Light just hired a Division III defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Y'all
got to take advantage of it.
I mean, dude, they went from Knowles, who they had them, what were their top 10 in the country, to a Division III guy in 2 years. Not a boy.
Yeah, I think that the most toxic fan bases in the Big 12, Tech, TCU, OK State. With everything
UCF now.
Tech and their battery chucking asses.
UCF is on something. Dude, I don't know what they think they got going on.
They're crazy, man.
I will
It's a
say
wild deal.
UCF, they made that video of like their schedule with all the funny memes or whatever. And there was an Oklahoma guy who said, I didn't know fan bases were still doing this. And I went
Cincinnati
and found,
was doing a couple of crazy ones too.
I went and found, but there was an Oklahoma guy that I follow that had made one. So I went and found it and tagged him in and said, this y'all are doing it too. Everybody does it. It's fun. You get
no,
funny
they didn't
memes
bother
about
me.
this
It
team.
kind of ticked off a few people. I saw a couple of Texas and
Ours
OU
was
fans are
like-
getting along and like going.
Ours-
It's so weird. It's so weird.
One of them had Texas as a slab of ground beef
Yeah.
with the horns down.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that logo one.
I think it's funny.
Yeah,
I think it's funny.
It didn't bother me.
We were Winnie the Pooh, so I was a little upset. So.
Winnie the Pooh at least hitting the gritty though? Was it Winnie the Pooh hitting the gritty?
It was just him.
Oh, okay. Wasn't
That's
Cocaine Bear?
What?
I think all of this conversation, I feel like, when did this get released? Was this early 2021 when they started talking about?
No, it's
Like,
been because
whenever
it's
it
been
comes out?
July of 2021 is when it was announced, and it came
July
out of nowhere.
2021.
And then of course, but what you're I mean, here's the deal. It's not for everything that's being said. Really, we just didn't find out anything today other than Fox is pissed off, right?
Yeah.
And that they're not happy. And as long as they're not happy, this is not going to happen. Now, the good news is the rest of them they have a deal in place that it seems like, I don't know how far off they are. I mean, as far as what with Fox. But if you've got 4 or 5, factions of this deal together, and no real deadline on it. So
yeah.
There's no real
So you
deadline
still
on it.
think it's going to happen by 4/24?
Yeah, listen, they said that it could be anytime. I mean, what McMurphy said, and I don't know how true all this is, but he reminded me, and I'd forgotten about this, to be honest with you, that Missouri didn't make their choice to leave to the SEC, or they were offered and they immediately accepted it. It was in November. The next year they were in the SEC.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 9 months later.
Was it the same year as maybe the contract ended, so they didn't have to do all this?
I think it was. Or? Yeah, because
yeah, they didn't have to do all
because
that.
2012 was the first year of the deal, and but they jumped ship. And I mean, I've been looking at a lot of that, and I mean, listen, this is what I was saying before, is that it's not all. It wasn't Bowlesby before that, but he hasn't made it better. He never made it better. And I think that Brett Yormark is smart enough to, I mean, it seems like he's doing his best to juggle keeping the legacy guys happy and not getting sued, because that's the other part of this whole deal was if that schedule would have been screwy, Oklahoma and Texas could have just sued about it because they did not have anything to do. I feel like OU and Texas are playing nice enough because they're not complaining about the schedules. I'm sure that there was discussion about it, but OU's got the 2 longest road trips. Now they only leave the state 3 times. So, I mean, it's not that big a deal. But that being said, they got to go to Cincy, which was in the playoff 2 years ago, and they got to go to BYU, which is one of the toughest places in the country to play in winter. It's going to be that would be your 2 toughest ones. Now, the rest of the schedule, it is what it is. You should win most of these games. They're still young, but I still feel like it's not a hurtful schedule. But I don't know what they had to get through to make it that way. You know what I mean? I was surprised that Texas was okay with playing Houston on the road, but
see, and that's the thing though. Houston's just. Am I being
they're a
dumb
dumpster fire, bro? It's not going to matter, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm just not. I think it's fine because
no, it's
obviously.
Hey, listen, this is a old war, old blood stuff, dude.
The only thing that sucks about going to Houston is Houston has a lot of A&M. Houston has a lot of A&M fans, so there's probably going to be a lot of people. Like, they're going to take up a lot of seats, I think, and they're not playing the NRG.
Is what I heard correct? They're playing at their stadium, and they said that the last time they played in Houston that there was Texas fans that got hurt.
Oh,
because of like bad stadium stuff or something,
I don't know. I don't know why you don't play at NRG. There's more seats, but then again, more seats, more Texas fans.
Houston sucks.
Yeah, that's the thing is that you add more Texas fans. They've got season ticket holders there, and they can make it loud there. Here's the deal: it's late. It's after the Red River game. By then, they are liable to be 1-5, 1-6. Right?
Yeah.
I think that they are Okie Light +1. That's it. I mean, literally, and because I think that Dana Holgerson has lost control of the ship. He really has.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to admit that it's
really
any of his
that.
fault. Yeah, I wouldn't be. But I know that it's an old beef. I mean, like Texas literally kept Houston from coming to the Big 12.
Yeah. And we took Tom Herman, who was the only thing making them good at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not scared of BYU either. And maybe because it's at home, I get Provo's a tough place.
Well, yeah, it's a different deal for you with BYU. But listen,
their quarterback's gone. Their 2 offensive linemen dipped out to Baylor.
I think that a lot of what happened with them last year was, I mean, they had some injuries. Look, they beat Baylor early, and then they were in the game at Oregon. They were in the game at Arkansas also.
They lost
and Arkansas was good until
dude, I don't know, man. They lost to Arkansas. They got curb stomped by Liberty. And don't get me wrong, I know Liberty had a really good year for Liberty standards. But then they lost to East Carolina by 3. Yeah. And then they barely beat Boise. They curb stomped Utah Tech, but it's Utah Tech. They beat SMU by 1. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but they had a lot of injuries. They had a nice team at the start of the season, and you know how it can go. It can go bad.
Oh yeah.
I still tell you that they have a good coach, they have a good program, and they have a fan base that will travel.
1,000% they'll travel.
Absolutely. Hey, this is like Notre Dame, Ohio State type of stuff, man. When it comes to BYU fans, they move with their team. They do, and so it's I think that myself, if I see if I'm looking at the top tier of the Big 12 once Oklahoma and Texas are gone, it's BYU, and it's probably Baylor, but and UCF because of the fact that UCF has the largest student body and the largest alumni base in the country, and they have a good coach too. Gus isn't a joke, man. He's beaten Nick Saban 3 times. He's the only guy that has. So
you don't think TCU is going to be up there? I mean, they're recruiting. They recruited top 20 now.
Maybe, yeah, but Texas Tech recruited top 25. That's unbelievable. I've never heard of such.
But to be fair, that's another team. Joey McGuire has.
I think that Joey's doing a great job. I think that I don't know.
I think he'll get a job somewhere else.
I think he better. Yeah, I think he better.
He'll get a job somewhere else. Sonny Dykes won't. Going from SMU to TCU, he's going to stay in that Dallas area. I don't think he's.
I think that Sonny's a decent coach. I just don't think that. And I heard you saying something about you didn't think much of Kendall. I do think that Kendall's good. I think that Kendall knows what he's doing when it comes to offense. But I also think that this is a different deal. And look, man, let's just be real about it. They had 5 or 6 wins that they could have very easily lost, and they were behind in, and that they, literally, when you get on a roll, you get on a roll.
And couldn't beat them.
When you get on a roll, you get on a roll. But they hurt Dylan Gabriel. They were already way up, but
they hurt every quarterback they played.
They did, but they were down 17 to Okie Light the next week. They were down 18 the week after that to Kansas State, and came back in both of them and won. You know what I mean? And they kept skating by. What were they down like 10 or
double digits?
Yeah, they were down double digits to Baylor too, weren't they? Yeah. So because I watched that game, and that was nuts the way they got that field goal at the end. I could not even believe that kid just walked in and popped it.
Nope.
But again, these things are things that should not happen that many times in a row. Listen, they did great in the portal last year. I think that they've done pretty well in it again.
They did really good this year.
But they had a lot of those super senior type dudes, man, last year, and they don't have them now. And that not having that experience, and the further away that Gary Patterson gets from the program, the less I believe in that defense, because this is a Mike Leach tree, and they just don't play defense, man. They just don't. So I have a hard time believing that TCU's going to continue to take that step. I just don't. I have a hard time with it. Until you're gonna have to show me. That's just one of them things. You just got to show me that. This is the only time we've seen them do anything, really, since the year that Baylor and them tied for the conference. What have they done since?
It's not that I'm saying that I think they're going to be good this year. I'm saying if they can they finished number 22 in the
one of the smallest schools in the country, bro. They've got like an enrollment of like 6,000 people.
If they can recruit top 20 for one more time in a row and then get those guys to come back as seniors, I think TCU could be a team that every 4 to 5 years could make not a natty run. I don't think they'll do that again if they ever do that again.
Well, here's the other question. Don't you feel like they're going to have a hangover from that? They got skull drug.
Yes, this year they will. They're going to be bad this year. I say that. I don't. They might make a bowl. They might make a bowl.
They should. Could be tough, should.
I don't know.
You can't go from the playoffs to the national title game to
LSU
no bowl game.
LSU did it.
Well, yeah.
Mind you, they lost a lot steeper talent. But
we went
I just think
number 5.
And what was it, like 6 first rounders or some crap?
Something crazy. But I think
TCU didn't have 6 first rounders. There's no way they're not anywhere close to that. That's the thing. But they still lost the better part of their team and the deepest part of their team. The guys with that had any kind of experience, and I just feel like they're going to get further from that. I like Sonny. I think that he's a good coach. But I also know that generally speaking, they're kind of middle of the road. That's just what they are everywhere he's been. He had a couple of good seasons at Cal, and they went in the tank.
They almost lost to SMU at the beginning of the year too.
Well, and that was a team that he recruited.
But that's a heated game. That's an emotional.
It's a rivalry game, just like anything. Anything can happen. He had beaten TCU the last 2 years.
Right. Yeah. I will say though, Baylor. It's the problem they're going to have is they're recruiting 34. I mean, mind you, though, the only current new Big 12 teams ahead of y'all.
Yeah, but out of all those coaches, who do you like most?
Tech.
I like Dave out of all those coaches, though.
Right. Here's the thing. I personally think we gave Dave Aranda too much credit too fast, and we could be doing the same thing to Sonny Dykes. In all honesty,
I'm not giving him all that credit. I watched them not be able to make an adjustment whatsoever. And got their teeth kicked in front of God and everybody.
Yeah, but
I mean, when the glass slipper fell off, it broke, shattered everywhere.
But Baylor did the same thing against Kansas State this year. Between Baylor, Kansas State, Tech, and TCU, those are the 4. But y'all.
Well, and I think that K-State. I think that we're talking about the best coaches. I think that Chris Kleiman is one of the best coaches. I also think that I don't think that. With this quarterback, I think that Kansas is dangerous, man.
Kansas. And Lance Leipold is
Lance Leipold is one of the best coaches in the country, period.
College football.
That guy won 4 or 5 1AA titles. I mean, this dude built a powerhouse in 1AA.
He probably won't be at Kansas another 2 seasons. It'll probably be this year if they win.
I don't know. I think he likes it.
7 or 8 games.
He likes it there. There's no expectations there. I mean, he's okay with being in these small places.
Their expectation is 2. Not next year. Next year they'll probably have I would guess they'll probably start with like a 4.5.
Jalen Daniels is a stud though, bro. That guy, that dude. I mean, when he was in the game, they were a lot different football team, man.
Me and Logan picked him to be the all Big 12 quarterback next year. I think if he stayed healthy this year, I think he probably would have done it. He
was there. He was on the way. Yeah. I mean, listen, they went 6-0 and then didn't win but one more game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. I will say, Texas did get to play against him, and we took out our frustration from 2021.
Yeah, man, that was we were talking about that on my show the other night. The guys from the Horns Down and the other podcast, though, Unfair Sports.
Yeah.
They were talking about how you kind of have the blueprint up there, for how you beat Kansas. You got to just run the ball.
Yeah.
And that was one of the few times that you saw Texas run it as much as they should have. Bijan just owned it,
Well, the end of the season we did. We did against Kansas, Kansas State, Baylor, and Baylor. Like I think Bijan Robinson had almost 700 yards in the last 4 weeks of the season.
Oh yeah, man.
Like,
And I mean, come on, man. He was great. He was great. I just
and
felt
that's
like there
with
was
playing
games.
TCU.
It was too
He
bad
had
that
almost
he.
that many with TCU.
Man, that was
Had
crazy.
like 40 yards against TCU.
My thing was like watching him in those middle games that they should have won that they didn't, and that kept. I mean, they needed one more win to get in the conference championship game, and you needed him to do that. And all they had to do was give him the ball against Okie Light, and they win. That's it.
And that's what gives me some hope with Sark. Is the end of the year. I think he learned. I think Okie Light. He learned a lesson in that game. Now TCU, mind you, we didn't run the ball as much, but it wasn't working.
I've been meaning to ask you, what was that crap before the bowl game though? That dude was tripping. Sark, whenever that dude was touching him, he kept like holding him back. He freaking.
Well, he kind of you could see that he was.
Oh no, I know.
Like, hey,
I called that dude Hans McDougalson or something. I was like, oh, Hansy over here getting all touchy feely with him and didn't even buy dinner.
My problem with all of that,
I probably would have been mad too.
It was like immediate.
Oh
like,
yeah, they just pounced on it.
An alcoholic.
I made a joke about it and laughed. I thought it was funny. I called the guy, the dude that was holding back hands, and it was like, man, he was like, dude,
he almost cost some hands.
Yeah. Listen, you don't get to just touch me. Don't buy me dinner. None of that stuff, bro. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was. You know what though? I need to see some of that intensity.
Hands off the merchandise.
I need to see that on the sidelines. I need to see some of that.
Hey, I've been saying the same thing about BV. You know, I don't know who told him that he needed to be so stuffed shirt and not frothing at the mouth. I want to see the old Brent Venables. That's all.
You see that with Dave every once in a while, like
but he's stoic mostly. But man, I have seen him flip out a little bit last year. He did. He did an Oklahoma game. He was pissed a couple of times.
The great coaches will get in your face when they need to.
Look, man, everybody's still, Well, and I'd said this.
There's an old video
still does
Mac
it
Brown.
over the dumbest stuff. He will lose his mind over little things. But
there's
that's
an old
why
video
they're great.
Of Mac Brown like slamming his headset on the ground, and I don't know which game it was. I had read a thing once that we were winning that game by like 3 touchdowns, and he was so mad, and he took it off and just slammed it on the ground. It's like
Mac Brown. Mac Brown was one of the best coaches of. I mean, he's still a great coach.
He is.
He's still a great coach.
If we had the production that Drake May had last year at UNC, we'd have been in the Natty.
I heard a Texas fan saying that he's going to win the Heisman next year. I'm like, what?
I think he can. I think
he
that
could.
Good.
I don't see
the problem is he's at UNC, and you can't lose 2 or 3 games and think
I'll tell you who should be on Heisman watch. You got to watch out for old boy at Clemson, man. Now that little brother Riley's there.
Yeah, Cade.
Yeah.
I like it. I got to watch him when he beat
Cade's a stud, man.
I got to watch him.
He beat him in the state championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Dallas
because he went to Austin.
Westlake or South Lake.
Not Westlake. It was South Lake, right? Or Travis.
Lake Travis. No, I think it was South Lake.
Okay.
Man, don't have me lying.
He wasn't a Westlake. Well, I know, but anyway, he was nice though. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He played better than Quinn Ewers did in that game. He outplayed Quinn by far. I think it was Westlake.
And I still think that Quinn is. I think that he was a freshman still last year, and he had some freshman moments. And I also think that he wasn't serviced by his coach like what he. Yeah, I think that Quinn's still going to be better than what a lot of people are giving him credit for.
I don't know as if I think
the worry would be if I'm a Texas fan, the worry I would have, and it's kind of the worry that I get about people freaking out about Dylan Gabriel if he's not perfect, and then they want to see. There's already people that are saying that they want to see Jackson Arnold right away.
Y'all turned on Spencer Rattler, which I don't blame you because his attitude is terrible. But y'all turned on Spencer Rattler so fast. Y'all were just chanting Williams for like 3 weeks in a row before he finally got pulled against Texas.
People had seen him. They knew what he was.
Because his attitude, it's always been bad. Every time
dude, if you watch the Netflix thing, I hated him then. I didn't want him to go then.
That was
and I still think he's a Trump. I still think he is a complete me, dude. He literally didn't show up to practice after he lost his job after the Red River game. He didn't show up on Monday. He was not being a good teammate at that point. At that point, you know that you lost your job. You can say you're okay, yeah, we're gonna get out of here. But you know what you need to do? You need to be a good boy for the rest of the season. And absolutely. And and Hudson knows that he's nothing. And here's the thing. I don't care how good. And Spencer's a big dude with a big arm. He's still going to be in the league, right? Even though I just think he's trash. But Hudson Card is nowhere near the athlete or has the arm that Quinn has. Quinn has an unbelievable
Quinn has the intangibles.
Right. And the thing about Quinn is that there's arm talent, which is being able to throw it long, and there's arm talent where you throw people open. It's like what I saw from the kid in the All-American Bowl. Dante Moore was if there's a better quarterback in the country than Dante Moore, I gotta see this.
And he went to UCLA, right? Is that the guy, or did he go to Oregon?
He went from Notre Dame to Oregon to UCLA on his commitments. Yeah. They must have dropped the big old bag on him.
Well, as far as the Big 12 when we're leaving, you have anything else to add on that? I think I've gotten what I needed to say.
Sooner than later would be great, but whatever.
It is what it is.
Well, what can you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a mess. I think it's a mess, but it's
If next year's schedule look as nice as this year's did, keep us around. I don't care. I'd be all right.
I agree.
It's fair.
I want to play Baylor. Play Baylor.
I'd like to see Oklahoma play Baylor again, and then I was actually okay with TCU not playing against Oklahoma because they have been kryptonite for Oklahoma for a long time.
I will say I'm just upset that y'all are not playing Kansas State.
Yeah, I'm
Kansas
not.
State.
Just
I posted.
That's the kryptonite, bro. That's the kryptonite.
I posted a YouTube short, and a Kansas State jumped in the comments and said, and just with a trash can emoji. And I said, "Hey, haven't we beaten y'all like 6 years in a row?" Like,
they beat Oklahoma every other year. They've been beating Oklahoma every other year for a while now.
Even when on a 6-game losing streak last year, and still ended the season getting a dub against Kansas State. Like, y'all aren't.
That was weird, yeah. And all of those losses though were freaking of the
Sark and players.
They were the Sark variety.
Sark's well, like I said, Sark gets his credit for adjustments, but players get their
he doesn't make adjustments.
They had. That's what I'm saying. He gets his credit for the lack thereof.
Okay.
But at the same time, there were a lot of instances in which you could tell those players. I mean, think about it. We go from Mac Brown to Charlie Strong, and Charlie Strong was a player's
sometimes
coach.
With these offensive guys, they just forget. They forget what they're doing.
Forget how to win.
Bro,
they forget how to
sometimes, and when you look, I mean, when you're up 17 midway through the third quarter, his thought was, let's blow these dudes out on their own field. But the thing was that I told you about the crosswinds at Oklahoma State. That is one of the few stadiums in the country that is situated east to west. Yeah. So you get that south wind going, and if you noticed, if you ever go back and look at that, there were balls that looked like they were perfectly on line. He's got a guy open, and it started here, and it curved like you're playing golf and, hit a big draw or something.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what I mean? But look, it's not because he didn't have an arm. It's because the wind was really whipping through there, and they knew that was coming. So if you're Sark and you're not noticing this, and Bijan's gotten the ball one time in the second half and he scored on it. It just doesn't make sense.
It does.
It just doesn't make sense. And so, really but it happens though. And these offenses, hey, look, I went to high school here in Artesia, and we're a spread team. We're one of the first spread teams in the area. And there were times that we needed to run the damn football, and we didn't. And we got our asses kicked because the coach just forgot, and he fell in love with it. And it just happens, man. It just does. And this guy's won 15 state championships, so it's not like he's a bad coach. But there's sometimes he would forget that, you know what, I need to feed my running backs a little bit. Mike Leach did it for freaking 30 years, man. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well,
we'll see what happens. I hope that they figure something out soon. But that being said, they don't have. I mean, they've got plenty of time. I mean, you just have to make it right. And I feel like maybe Oklahoma and Texas say, "Hey, let's make it right for freaking Fox." Somebody told me that OU, and I don't necessarily doubt this. I know that Texas has the money, whatever it is, because of their money. They've got more money. But that they were like, "Nah, we're not helping you for Oklahoma," which I get it. But you did drag us into this, so pay up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I don't think I don't think Texas in general wants to pay the buyout. It's one thing you need to buy out.
I think it's the pettiness, the petty side, and I don't blame them. And neither does Oklahoma. Yeah. Oklahoma's been saying from day one, we'll stay. We'll stay.
Yeah. There's just no need to. And
right. Yeah. And that's what I told Kuz on the show. I was like, bro, why the hell should UT and Oklahoma pay for your investment to make your conference better? Why? I mean, are you serious? And
I've been saying for a while,
bro, at the freaking league meetings in Vegas, they had already said a month before that they were staying. They weren't. This was over with. Yeah. And then the rest of the 8 get together, probably led by Okie Light. We want them out. We want them out. It's Gundy in them. He doesn't want to play Bedlam anymore. He does not. It pisses him off that he had to do it one more time.
Aggies are the same. Little brothers are all the same, no matter where you go.
Dude. Freaking.
I've been saying from the very beginning, if listen, first of all, if y'all are a fan of another team and y'all made it this far in the video, appreciate y'all. Secondly,
yeah, right. 50 minutes.
I'm about to make you click off because if you're a fan of one of those other teams and y'all are mad at us for not wanting to pay every single time y'all step into y'all's new weight room or new locker room, y'all just need to go ahead and do a handwritten letter to the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma because we're the only reasons y'all could afford it. You're welcome. Your new basketball arena, you're welcome. You get new turf next year, you're welcome. Those jerseys look good, and you're welcome for them.
Hey, there's that snobbiness coming out. There it is. There it is.
You can be mad that we're leaving. That's fine, but you got to at least appreciate.
We've done a
lot. Longhorn Network. None of us like it. None of the Longhorn fans like it. I know y'all hate it.
Except for it paid you so much money. That revenue that came from that changed things. The weird thing is with all that revenue did not come wins. So that was the weird thing about it. But that being said, look, there's a lot of people that throw the blame of this conference directly on Texas for that, the Longhorn Network.
Well, because they say that's why A&M left is because we got the Longhorn
It's definitely
Network.
why A&M left. It is absolutely why A&M left. It's not why Missouri left. It's why I want to say that it's probably Nebraska had
why A&M left. I think
it's why A&M left, bro. They did not trust
A&M has treated us since they left. I think they really just wanted out of our shadow, just completely. I think
there is part of that, but the fact that you could have taken that and made that the Big 12 network, and they could have shared revenue.
But that's the problem, and it sounds greedy.
Every other conference in the country has a network except for the Big 12, which is another issue for the Big 12.
But when you're the biggest revenue school in the country, why am I splitting my revenue with, no offense, Kansas? Y'all were winning one game a year.
Could you not see that you would have had more power teams stay in the conference or be able to attract them? Because
hindsight's 2020. Okay, I think if Texas could go back, I don't think they'd make the same decision. Right? We didn't know.
It is a trash channel. I mean, good.
It's garbage. There's not a single Texas fan that likes it. Not a single one. We missed
I mean, how many times can you watch? I mean, you can watch like
it's terrible.
So many times where you. Yeah, I mean, if you Earl Campbell, on TV, Earl Campbell highlights. You only need to see those a couple of times, bro, and you get it. You know what I mean?
It doesn't even fit to size on your TV screen. Like it's just a little square. It is absolutely garbage. And
it's good for local advertising. It's good for local. I mean, they do great with advertising. That's what it's about. I mean,
and it's nice to be able to. I can go and just scroll through Longhorn Network, and I can find like old Texas and Oklahoma games, especially like during the week of that game. They'll always play a bunch of reruns, so that's kind of cool. And it's Longhorn Network, so whichever one you record, they won.
YouTube,
they're not showing the games you lost.
True.
So.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Must be nice. Must be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, listen.
It is.
I mean, I did that all for the entire Bedlam week. I mean, I just kept on pumping out videos that of Okie like crying. It was fun.
It is.
It is fun to pick on them.
Well, hey, I think we should wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Final thoughts just being Big 12 hashtag sorry not sorry.
Sorry not sorry. Listen, I think there's a lot of reasons that this happened. I wouldn't blame it all on Texas even. I wouldn't, because
I don't blame
the
it
conference,
all on Texas
the
or
conference.
OU.
Listen, the conference
Bowlesby
itself,
plays a part.
the conference itself, Bowlesby is the biggest, and the guy before him, they were the biggest reasons. They never adjusted. They never listened to their cash cows.
We wanted more teams.
Look, yeah, and you want to play more night games. You wanted to do take care of your cash guys, take care of your winners, and he never did it. And so, and you can't say, and the worst thing that he said was they went behind my back like that, blah blah blah, bro. If you didn't see this coming, you're stoned all the time. That's all there is to it. There's just no way that you can make any other excuses, because, dude, they freaking tried to take 5 teams and go to the Pac-12. It was coming. If you didn't see it coming, you're a moron. Period. So once they made the decision to leave, it didn't take him long to go get some teams and put them in the league then.
Yeah.
Because
there was already teams waiting at the door. He was just he had been turning them down for so long.
Yeah, listen, and then I know for sure that Oklahoma was pissed about Baylor and TCU that year. Pissed off because it made the conference look weak. You missed an opportunity to keep your conference on that level. One of those teams deserved to be in that playoff. Period.
Baylor beat TCU that year in the head-to-head.
Listen, and that the tiebreaker doesn't work. A head-to-head doesn't work. But the fact that they didn't have it was not having a conference championship game that screwed them.
Yo.
I'm glad you agree with the head-to-head. Now we'll just talk about the 2008 season real quick.
For the conference championship, bro. I'm not talking about the rest of that stupidity.
That's all BCS. You know what? Kids don't even know what BCS means anymore.
Yeah, And here's the thing. Now we're gonna find out. We're gonna start finding out some of these teams that you think belong that don't, because this 12 team, you're gonna get some teams in there that are gonna get erased.
There's
TCU.
The difference
TCU would have
between
never made it out of the second round, or they shouldn't have made it out of the first. If they had dropped them like they should have when they lost, then you get
they'd have been blown
Michigan
out
and Ohio State. You get Michigan, Ohio State in the first round.
It's what the people wanted.
I screamed about it then.
Michigan probably would have won again, and I think their run game was too great. And then a Michigan, Georgia still wins, but it's better. It's a better game.
The thing about Georgia is they had their bad game in the semi, and you could have seen it. You could see it happen because they were explosive. Ohio State was. They didn't have a good defense, but you're in a dome, so speed guys like they have, that's going to work out okay there. There's no weather issues, none of that for that game, right? So Ohio State and they played as good as they could, and Georgia really didn't play well, and still won. Yeah. I knew after that game, I was like, "Ooh, TCU's in deep shit," in deep trouble, and they were. It was over real quick. So I think they're gonna have a big hangover, man. I don't know that. That's hard to come. In front of everyone, national TV, like everybody. That's the only game on.
Yep.
And you're losing Duggan, Kendra Miller, and Quentin Johnston. Yeah, their offense is gonna be rough.
Yeah, and you're not a Quentin Johnston fan though, so you don't think he's good, right?
I mean, I think he had like 4 games with really good production, and the biggest game of the season was
a big old dude, man. Well, no, but I mean, neither did anybody else.
True.
Kendra was hurt, so otherwise they would have beat Georgia, obviously.
No, they weren't beating Georgia, bro. They weren't. But I mean,
Jason, you got any closing Closing remarks.
Nope. Everybody check out the show. CFP at CFP-podcast. There you go. Yeah. So appreciate that. And guys, help out my boys here. They're getting close, man. They're getting close. We need to get them monetized. Make sure you continue watching these dudes, man. And thanks for having me on the show, fellas. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
Logan,
gonna miss
any
you guys whenever y'all decide
closing
to leave.
remarks?
That's it.
Say again.
I'm gonna miss y'all guys sometimes whenever y'all decide to leave. Just go ahead and get out.
I'll say one thing, and this is my last remark. Once we officially leave the Big 12, I will be able to way more confidently. I say sick them with confidence now. I like Baylor, right? They're my second favorite
weird.
Big 12 team.
It's kind of weird, bro. I never.
It's just since we've been doing this, I've kind of I know the names of their.
Oh, I know. Hey, listen,
their
Logan goes
now.
to bat for you, bro. That's for sure. And your
Yeah.
Longhorns.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah,
once we
we're good
leave
at
the
it.
Big 12, I can just fully say sick them, bro. Screw the rest of them teams. And right now, it's like
Yeah.
I say sick them, but then during the season, there's like, okay, but I kind of need Baylor to lose this game if we want to make the Big 12, right? And so I'm ready to be able to get out and just say sick them all season long.
Boomer.
With that being said, yeah, all right, let me just get my. With that being said, I appreciate y'all rocking with us. Y'all go check out Jason over at the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. He, like I said at the beginning, if y'all like live streams, interacting with the host, he goes live sometimes 3 times a week, and it's really good content. He has a lot of guests on from a ton of other teams.
Listen,
so
we
really good for insight.
I've enjoying that part. Is just the camaraderie. I love coming on with you guys. I like having you on my show, and some of the other guys that we've had on. Won't be doing it with the Outlaw anymore. Screw that guy. But yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Tell us about that. Tell us about all that later.
Yeah, my bad.
If y'all made it this far, I do want to just talk about the scrolling text at the bottom. So we do have a giveaway at 500 subs. We're at about 450. But the big giveaway will be if we can reach 1,000 by September 1st.
Giving away game tickets,
season.
right?
Yeah.
We're going to give away tickets. One
That's
for
dope,
sure,
dude.
possibly 2. You don't have to be a Texas or a Baylor fan to win. But if you are, we're going to try to get tickets to the Texas-Baylor game. So that'll be dope. Jason, I know you're an Oklahoma fan. I'd hate to buy an Oklahoma ticket, but you're subscribed. So technically, you're entered to win already.
I mean, if you wanted to go down to Waco with us.
So I'm working on getting us. I'm trying to get us some press passes, bro. So, we'll see what's up. But but we need to talk about that. But I'm working on it.
We don't ever get off work enough to go to anything like that. But
yeah, but
we'll see.
all right.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah. If we work it right, we should be able to do this.
That's true. And then lastly, do want to talk about someone who is not a paid sponsor, but he was able to help my family out. Casey Crutcher at Rollo Insurance. Give him a call at 903-948-5195. He saved us $40 a month on insurance. So if you have home, auto, life, health, or business commercial insurance in the states of Texas, New Mexico, Utah, Georgia, Colorado, Oklahoma, or Tennessee, give him a call. It's free. He might be able to save y'all some money like he did for us. And with that being said, appreciate y'all rocking with us. Jason, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, fellas. Have a good one.
You too, man.